All right, everybody, welcome back. You know me. Got to get ready for Thanksgiving early, right? I mean, is it even Thanksgiving if you don't start thinking about the mashed potatoes like in September?
You might be onto something there.
But today we're serving up something even better than a mountain of mashed potatoes. We're going deep on Thanksgiving.
I am ready.
Yeah. We've got all these articles, really fascinating stuff about Thanksgiving's, well, I guess you could say it's weird history
hmm
and how in the world we ended up celebrating it today, in the age of Instagram and TikTok and all that.
Like a Thanksgiving TikTok challenge.
Well, maybe not exactly, but you get the idea, right? So buckle up, everybody, because today we're uncovering the real story behind this classic holiday.
Let's do it.
So we've all heard the traditional Thanksgiving story, right? The Pilgrims, Plymouth Rock, the heartwarming feast with the Wampanoag in 1621.
Yeah, the classic.
But get this. One of these articles, it basically says that wasn't even close to the first Thanksgiving in North America. What's the real deal here?
It's amazing how much we can get stuck on just one version of the story. You know, long before Europeans even showed up, indigenous people all over this land, they were having these incredible harvest festivals to give thanks for what the earth provided.
Interesting.
Yeah. And these weren't just little parties. They were deeply spiritual, tied to their whole way of life, their connection to nature, going back centuries before that 1621 feast.
Wow. Okay, so that really changes how you see things, huh?
It really does. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, that 1621 get-together, it was important, especially for those early colonists and all that.
Right.
But if we only focus on that one event, we totally miss this long, rich history of harvest celebrations that were already happening for, ever.
That makes a lot of sense. And speaking of how Thanksgiving has changed over time, one article really dug into this woman, Sarah Josepha Hale. Ever heard of her?
Vaguely. Remind me.
So apparently she's the reason Thanksgiving is even a national holiday. This woman spent decades campaigning to make it happen. What was she thinking?
Oh, wow, yeah. Sarah Josepha Hale, she was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was a writer, an editor, and she truly believed that a national Thanksgiving could bring the country together, especially during really divisive times like during the Civil War.
Wow.
Talk about a vision, right? She thought it could remind people to be thankful and feel connected, like they were all part of something bigger.
And she actually pulled it off. That's wild.
Right. Decades. Writing to presidents, endless letters, just pushing and pushing. You got to admire that kind of dedication.
That's amazing. I mean, one person changing how a whole nation celebrates a holiday, it's mind-blowing. And it makes you think, how are we shaping Thanksgiving today, Especially with all the social media stuff thrown into the mix.
Oh, for sure. It's almost like we've got Plymouth Rock on one hand, and on the other hand, we've got, perfectly arranged Thanksgiving tables on Instagram. And don't forget the TikTok cooking challenges.
Uh-huh, yeah. But you're right, it's more than just showing off what we're eating, right?
Right. One of the articles, it even talked about how social media can actually help families who live far apart to still feel connected.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Sharing recipes online, those videos of everyone saying cheers over a virtual toast. It's like a digital version of the dinner table,
I like that, the digital dinner table.
It's really kind of cool when you think about it. Not everyone can travel to be together for every holiday, but social media can help bridge that gap.
Yeah, that's true.
It lets people still be a part of the celebration, even from miles away. It's really interesting to see how these platforms take traditions that have been around forever and adapt them to how we connect with each other today.
It's true. Social media can definitely help keep us connected. But sometimes I see those picture-perfect Thanksgiving posts, the ones that look like they're straight out of a magazine, and it makes you think, is this what it's all about now? Is it even Thanksgiving if you don't post a picture of your plate?
Right. It's like we're all trying to create this perfect image of the holiday. One of the experts we read actually called it the Pinterestification of Thanksgiving. We get so caught up in presenting this ideal version online, it's almost like we forget to enjoy the actual day.
That's so true. I mean, I love a good Instagram-worthy spread as much as the next person, but come on, what about the real moments, the conversations, the laughter, even the burnt pies? That's the good stuff.
Totally. It's those real unscripted moments that we remember, right? I don't want to be all doom and gloom about social media either. You know how everyone's posting those thankful videos?
Yeah.
For some people, I think that's genuine. A way to express their gratitude, reflect on what's good in their lives. Kind of like a public gratitude journal,
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And I guess it's easy to focus on the negative side of social media, But there's also the commercial side of Thanksgiving that always gets me. Black Friday ads everywhere you turn. Do you think this whole shopping frenzy is ruining the holiday?
It's a good question. It's definitely gotten more intense, that's for sure. But one of the articles had a really interesting take on this. They said that instead of just complaining about how commercialism is ruining Thanksgiving, maybe we should think about it as a challenge. Like, how can we be more aware of those pressures and make different choices?
Oh, I like that. Instead of letting it get to you, you choose how you're going to deal with it.
Right, exactly. We all know those ads and sales are going to be there no matter what. But we can still decide to focus on what's really important to us, like spending quality time with family or giving back to our communities. And hey, maybe even just enjoying a delicious meal without worrying about snagging the best Black Friday deal.
I think I needed to hear that today. So we've talked about the historical Thanksgiving, the social media Thanksgiving, and even the commercial Thanksgiving. But what about how kids experience all of this? Let's be real. Thanksgiving can be a hard sell for kids when you've got Christmas right around the corner.
Oh, for sure. Can you blame them? Presents, Santa, endless cookies. Thanksgiving doesn't really stand a chance.
Right. It's not even a fair fight. So what did our experts have to say about this?
So one article dug into the psychology behind it, and it's pretty interesting. It turns out younger kids are hardwired for instant gratification. They want it now. And they haven't quite grasped the whole concept of time yet, so waiting for Christmas feels like, well, forever. Whereas presents, you get those right away.
Yeah.
This makes sense to their brains.
It's true. When you're little, a week feels like a year.
Exactly. And on top of that, they're just starting to develop their imagination. So the whole idea of Santa Claus, flying reindeer, it just fits perfectly into their world.
It really is like a whole different world for them at that age.
It is. But, even though those little brains are going crazy for Santa, Thanksgiving can still have a special place, too.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot of the articles talked about how much kids love those Thanksgiving traditions, the family time, all of that.
Them together now.
Right. It's just about figuring out how to make those parts of the holiday really click for them.
For sure. And I think one article had a great suggestion. It was all about getting the kids involved in the preparations.
Oh, absolutely.
Like instead of just sitting them at the kids' table, you bring them into the kitchen and let them help out.
Exactly. Even little kids can do things like setting the table or mashing potatoes. It makes them feel like they're part of it.
Right, like they're contributing.
Yeah. And when kids get older, maybe they help with some of the cooking or decorating, even come up with their own Thanksgiving games.
That's so fun. I bet that would make them way more excited for Thanksgiving.
Exactly. It's all about building those positive memories, you know.
I love it.
It's like instead of wishing for Christmas to hurry up and get here, they're looking forward to baking that pumpkin pie with Grandma or learning how to make the perfect gravy.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, this has been such a fascinating deep dive. We started with ancient harvest festivals, and somehow we ended up talking about TikTok and Thanksgiving.
It's amazing how it all connects, isn't it?
It really is. And you know what? It just goes to show that Thanksgiving is so much more than just a day to stuff your face.
Totally. It's about history and traditions.
And family and gratitude. So this year, when you're gathered around that table, maybe take a second to think about all the different ways people have celebrated this holiday over the years and how you want to celebrate it with your own family and friends.
That's a great takeaway.
Whether you're sharing a virtual toast with family across the country or maybe attempting a Thanksgiving TikTok dance, the important thing is to find those moments of connection and gratitude.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So from both of us here, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And remember, save room for pie.